What is going on, people? Welcome to the On a Level podcast, episode 38. Today we got a big one. We got the man himself. Lisi, how you doing, my brother?
Hey, Subbles. Good man, yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. I can't complain. I felt very motivated recently. Felt real good. Fucking yeah, man. There's so much I want to talk about, and again, I don't want it to feel like an interview, but there's so many things I just want to cover. So first off, congratulations on the EP. Congratulations
thanks,
on the
bud.
project. How you feeling about that? How does it feel dropping your first project?
Yeah, bro. Nah, the celebration was hard. So, had the launch party on Thursday night.
Yeah.
And I just woke up this morning. So that's pretty much when the so it's pretty much just been the whole weekend of just celebration.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. Apart from that, like, yeah, I'm excited, bro. Like, it's something different. It's definitely a big milestone for me, especially as a new artist and stuff. But yeah, happy that it's out now, and now it's just on to the next project. Hey, just gotta stay working, stay grinding.
So you already know that you want to move on to another project?
Oh yeah, but this one is for the West, with the West.
Sick. Yeah. So when have you got a time frame of when that's going to be dropping? Is that in the works? Like, where are we at with that project?
Yeah, nah, it's in the works now. Probably look around near the end of the year. Just give us some time to, sit down and plan out what we want to put up on this, this project and stuff. And yeah, but also in saying that, we got singles coming out too. So yeah, we got making a lot of moves, eh?
Nah, that's sick, man. Talk to me about the West. How did that form together? Like, who are the members within the group, and how did you all come together?
So it goes me, Snoopy, JR, Vix, and our producer Rekka. He would have been on the EP that I just dropped as well. Yeah, we're just all mates from the area. Like we all know that we have an interest in rap, and I guess we all thought to come together and just do something that because we saw other people putting their hoods up and stuff, so we thought, let's do the same. Let's show them the world where we're from and how we roll. And yeah, that was pretty much just how we came about.
So you're all a bunch of mates from the area, and did you go to like the same school or anything like that, or?
Nah, we all got an age gap, but we were just all around each other. Like, we'll see each other at like parties and drink ups and stuff like that. And yeah, I guess that's how we all linked. It's just and through like families and stuff, because everyone knows everyone over here pretty much, I'd say. So yeah, it's not hard to get to get together with a group of mates like that and just start something up. A lot of people do it in our area, to be fair. A lot of people get together and they establish businesses, or they all go to the same school. Like, a lot of kids would get together in Ipswich and then go Kebra Park, which is like a whole 2 hours somewhere. I don't know where it is, but yeah, nah. So yeah, I guess that was what we pretty much did as rappers. We just came together and formed this group, the West.
Nah, that's sick, man. Would you? Is it fair to say that there's a good sense of community then within your area?
100%, bro. Very family oriented or orientated. Yeah. That's pretty much our hood. Like, we just stick up for each other and stuff, and we're just proud of where we come from, eh?
Yeah, that's sick. And you reflect that within your music. You talk about being from Goodna, the Th4 W3ST. You rep that like relentlessly. I mentioned it on EP review. It's just something that you can't listen to a track of yours without shouting out your family or one of the boys from the area, or just just the area itself. Like, talk to me. What is it? What was it like growing up in Ipswich? What was it like growing up in Goodna?
Oh yeah, it was it was good, bro. Like, honestly, if we hated it, it would be those people that are just like, we're out. Like, we don't want to be here. Like, we're not proud of where we're from. But nah, obviously, like, growing up here, we loved everything about it. And that's why we hold it close to us. Just being from this area, and plus it's underrated in many ways. Like, a lot of people don't recognize where we're from, but it's good that you know, we're putting it out there now because now people got a, you know, an eye on the 43. And now when you see an NRL player come out from Goodna, everyone's backing it. You know, like it used to be growing up. It was just no one really cared. You know, it was just like you do you and stuff like that. But now everyone's supporting us, and it's not just us. It's like the whole. Wait, I'm getting sidetracked. Hey, fuck me dead.
Nah, go for it, man. Nah, it sounds so. Is it fair to say you've got a bunch of supportive people around you? Like you all kind of support and rep for each other.
Yeah. And but what I'm trying to say at the end of it though is like that's what we love where we're from. You know, because like it's our family, it's our home, and you know, home is where the heart is, and yeah, that's why we hold it down so much.
Yeah, I think that's amazing to have that sense of community. I mean, speaking on behalf of here in London, that's something that we don't have enough of, in my opinion. It's out here, it just feels like everyone's trying to grab a piece for themselves and not support enough people around them. Of course, you've got individuals that are, and of course, you've got these small hubs and pockets of and groups that support each other. But as a whole, like if we're talking from any age group, any background, there's not enough of that here, in my opinion. When I've not visited Australia, but when I visited New Zealand, I noticed that there was that sense of community. There was that sense of willing to help a stranger, willing to say good morning to someone random. Like here, it's like, what do you mean you're gonna say good morning to a stranger? Like you was brought up saying like, don't look at strangers, don't give them eye contact unless you know them. You don't talk to them. Like what is it like that in Goodna, or do you have that sense of you can say hello to people, you can go help people, you can trust people? Like is there that sense of trust, should you say?
Yeah, no, 100. No, there is, because you know, in Goodna it's just like everyone's welcoming, everyone's hella happy, friendly. You know, there's a local game of touch happens every day, 5 p.m. Touch footy, touch football. And we all, and just everyone from the area that if you live around, everyone knows, like 5 p.m. every day, down at the Jacaranda Fields, there's a game of touch happening and anyone can join. Like, doesn't matter where you're from, like what color you are, it doesn't matter. It's just go have a sweat, go have a run, make some friends. You know, that's how it is over here. That's like you were saying, like you just go walk about, say hi to someone, say good morning. You know, stuff like that. It's normal. It's because that's just how it is. You know, and but yeah, I get what you're saying there. But like what it's like where you're from. Because I lived in areas like that too, and yeah.
I mean, so you had good people around you growing up, but like who influenced you? Not like away from music. Who was like the good influences in your life?
My parents. Like, well, are you talking like big people, or are you talking about like just around?
Like just around you. Like who was there to guide you on the right path? Like, did you have people there to say like, look, this is what's right, this is what's wrong, this is what like, just like positive influences in your life?
Yeah. My rugby league coach at school, he was really good too. You know, but it's funny because it's things that, you know, that I took in, like I took, like I saw it with deeper meaning than what it actually was. Like say for instance, you know, something went wrong in a game that we played like last week, then we got to pay for it this week, you know. And there was just stuff like that, like, you know, like I don't know, like that was to me that was what formed my mind to work how it does now. You know what I mean? Like just never give up, always stay working hard, be the hardest one working, because you know you never know where you're gonna get. So that was my rugby league coach. That's the kind of person he was. He was a Mr. Faulkner. If you're watching, shout out to you. Yeah. Other than that, I don't really know.
I mean, you mentioned on the EP. I know you mentioned that on the last track, "Give It Back." You obviously shout out your parents like a ton. Like you're just like, look, for everything that you've given me, I want to give it all back, kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
You know, and you talked about the support that your parents give you, and you know, how important do you feel how important do you feel it is to have supportive parents of what you do, and you know, how much does that mean to you that they were there to support you?
Oh yeah, 100, like everything, bro. I think it's just because, you know, it's like it's tough. It's tough being a parent. Like there were times where, you know, like in saying that, like there's still times where my parents just, I don't, like they probably have enough of me. You know, they don't want to deal with me anymore. But you know, growing up, that like they stuck through it, through everything that I was doing wrong and stuff. You know, they're just, because no one, like, there's no perfect child. You know, and I was far from it. I was nowhere near it. But the fact that they just always provided for me, and they always loved me, and you know, they treated me the way they brought me up, the way they brought me up. I owe it all to them, eh?
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it all starts at home. That's something that we learn. Everything you do, everything you say, everything that you think about, it all starts from home. And I guess that's the reason why I'm the character I am today, is because in my house it was you know, I was taught well, and just yeah, yeah, yeah. It was, I don't know. I'm grateful. Hey,
Yeah, no,
grateful.
that's amazing, man. I honestly, and it's so good to hear you be grateful and be so open about that. You know, there's so many people that, you know, do have amazing parents and have supported them, and then equally there's so many people that haven't had that, or they haven't had a father,
Yeah,
or haven't had a mother in their life. You know, so the fact that you're acknowledging the fact that you have had that support, and you know, it's not a bad thing. Like people, you know, seem to sometimes there may be this image of, but you have both your parents in your life and they did things for you, and I can
yeah,
understand where that's coming from, a perspective of hate, of you know, like maybe even jealousy or envy, you know, because you know they may or may not have grown up without that themselves. And I feel like there's nothing wrong with saying, like, yes, I come from a supportive home. Like, yeah, shit weren't
yeah.
easy, but you know,
100.
I was still supported. You know, I feel like
Yeah,
that's not a bad thing to say. Um,
nah,
then you're coming into music. Like, what made you? When did you start like rapping? When did you start like writing your first bars and shit?
bro. Fuck, when I was 9 years old.
Mhm.
When I was 9 years old, I started rapping. I just got into the hip hop scene at that age, and like when I was 9, I wrote my first rap. It was probably the most ABC rap that you ever heard. But
Gotta start somewhere.
that's something, you know, like,
Yeah, man.
and you know, and then it was just something I'll do on the side, like, you know, finish everything at home. You know, if I'm bored, I'll just like go. Like there were times where like the game, I wasn't allowed to play the PS4 or something, like, or
Mhm.
PS2 or something like that, and then, you know, I had to go do something else. And I wasn't the type to like watch TV or you
Mhm.
know, like stuff like that. So I would go and like listen to like rap songs, and then find inspiration and then write little raps myself. Um, so yeah, I've always been working on it, but it was always on the side. Like at the same time, I was playing footy, and I was just trying to. I was doing like in school. I was doing what we call OP, which is like qualifications to go uni,
Yep.
uh, stuff like that. So I was doing stuff like that, but it was never a passion in terms of like I'm gonna focus on rap so that I can do rap for the rest of my life. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like it was sort of a blessing in disguise. Is that what you would you call it that? I don't know,
Yeah.
but it was always on the side, like, you know,
Mm.
just something, a hobby. That's what I'd call it.
Mm.
It was a hobby. Um, but I just got better and better with it, because like I'd watch battle rap. You watch battle rap?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, battle rap, and then I'd listen to a song. Then you just think, like, you just put two and two together, and you think, fuck, imagine having Heady One's flow with a battle rapper's bars, lyrics like
Yeah, I
that.
was just about to say they're two different
No,
skill sets, but they can translate over. And you
yeah,
know, there's
100.
only a handful of battle rappers that actually make good rap music. Vice versa, the
Yeah,
odd rapper that travels over to battle rap typically doesn't do too great. They're two different skill sets. But I was similar to you. I grown up listening to a bunch of UK music, you know, listening to Skepta, listening to JME, listening to
yeah,
Krypton Conan, and then it was like, but I was really into my battle rap, especially UK battle rap, and then KOTD. Wasn't too big on smacking URL, but listening to battle rappers and then being like, yo, the shit they're coming out with is crazy. Like, the pen game is beyond 95% of rappers, full stop. It just is.
That's what they focus on, though, you know? It's like when they're versing each other, it's just who's got the best bars, like, you know? And that's why I loved it. I was like, fuck. I used to just watch like battle rap on battle rap, and then it got to a point where I wanted to do battle rap. Like I just stopped making like songs, and I started to actually just like think of bars and just write verses that I would say to someone or something, like, you know. Yeah, and that was pretty much where I found my love for rap. But that's a whole new game. It's different.
Who was you listening to? Like when you like started getting into hip hop, was you listening to American artists, Aussie artists? Who was you listening to?
I never listened to Aussie music until Pistol P and Enzo came out. That's the first time where I actually considered, like, also because they're brown, like, I was proud to see like another brown brother, you know, switching it up a bit, you know, being the first ones to do this rap shit. Because New Zealand was doing it all, but I don't know, it just didn't sit with me. I liked Scribe. Scribe was good, if you know who he is. You know, artists like Savage and stuff. But yeah, when I was first coming into hip hop, it was just your good old Biggie, Tupac, Naughty by Nature, Wu-Tang Clan, you know. And then I started to go into artists like Nas, Mos Def, you know, what's the other bloke? Big L, you know,
Big L.
People like that. Yeah, Big L, Mobb Deep, stuff like that. And then yeah, so I started listening to that. But then around what was the year of Shut Up by Stormzy?
2015.
Yeah, that's when I started like open my ear to UK music, because I heard Skepta here and there before that.
Yeah.
Even Wiley. I don't know how I heard of Wiley before.
Okay.
Before I heard of Stormzy, but I remember there was a song, I think it's Morgue or something. It was
Wiley Morgue. Yeah.
Yeah, something. Oh, it was something like that. Yeah, but that was like here and there. It wasn't like, oh, I was like, oh yeah. And I wouldn't listen to it again.
So you was aware, but weren't really diving deep into it.
Yeah, 100. So I was just seeing those ones, but then when Stormzy came out, then I just started spamming him. Like my whole playlist is all Stormzy, bro. Like from his fucking song that he did to Justin Bieber's beat. Remember that one? There was a cover.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like,
I know what you're talking about though. Yeah.
All That Matters or something like that.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. So like stuff like that, and then after that, I dove into 6 7.
Yeah.
And then I caught on to the drill scene. And yeah, from there on it's just been, I reckon I'd say I just listen to UK music now, to be honest.
So you listen to more UK than you do US or even Aussie music?
Yeah, 100. Let's say UK and Aussie is about the same, eh? Yeah,
I think that's sick. So you've been listening to this music, you got this inspiration from all different places. What made you write your first track? Was your first track Say Less?
Yeah, Say Less.
Say Less. And was that like the first ever song you written, or was that the first one that you put out publicly?
No, that's the first one I put out publicly. Because me, I used to write songs, but like it wasn't for like songs to go up on, you know, stuff. It was more just like a diary entry sort of thing, you know. Like I'd write like some angry shit, or you know, I'd write something that, you know, from horny, or again, joking. Do that. That's not me, man. Fuck that. Nah, you know what I mean. That,
we'll rewind that one. All right, so you were writing shit, but then Say Less. What made you put that out? What was different about that track?
Well, I had hype around my name. People like, because I was just doing these videos on Instagram, just putting on my phone and then press record, and then like do some little 1 minute raps on Insta, and people were like, bro, get in the studio, just see what it's like, try this, try that, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, alright. I've never really done a full song with the structure of a verse, chorus, verse. but I said, you know, I will give it a go, and then I did it, and I put it up, and I was expecting maybe like the area to like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that was the only people that I really wanted to reach out to. But then fuck yeah.
Yeah, that shit exploded.
Yeah.
Like, there's only a handful of people that have dropped one track and made that level of noise off like one track. Obviously, you created a bit of a buzz for yourself beforehand, but in terms of putting it out on YouTube or something, just how that exploded so quickly. I mean, here's a fun fact for you. On my channel at this current date, on the 12th of July, I only have 6 videos on my channel with over 100k views. One of them is the Say Less reaction. Right, it's on like 120k. Guess who the other 5 reactions are? So out of those other 6, 5 of the others, who do you think that's reacting to?
Oh, 1-4. Would that be one?
Yeah, 1-4. Right.
Yeah.
So your track literally did 1-4 numbers in terms of a reaction scene, because I feel like that's
reaction,
important.
Yeah.
And you got attention from like people like Dan and Kaz, Lee to the VI, like other big, like way bigger than me, like UK reactors, like. How did that feel in that moment? Because you've gone from a guy who has a small buzz in the area, like few people know you and whatnot, to then all of a sudden this shit just changing overnight almost. Yeah,
bro, fuck, it was crazy, and it was crazy too because I was like following all the reactions to all the Australian artists here too, like 1-4, Hefs, you know, just watching that, and I was like, fuck, like imagine being known in another country like that.
Yeah.
And then fuck, next thing you know, I'm looking at the screen and almost reacted to me, and I'm like, oh shit, fuck, you know, it's buzzy. It's buzzy though, because you know, like it'll be the same for you as well, like just to be known in Australia, like.
Oh, nuts! It's absolutely nuts when people are like I tell this story so often because I love it. One guy DM'd me and he was just like, I've been with my girlfriend 6 months and whatnot, and like it's because of you. And I'm like, what do you mean it's because of me? And he goes, I was in a bar one night and I overheard this girl talking to another girl about your videos, and like I knew like of you and everything, so I started talking to her, and that was like the talking point, and now we're together. I'm like, what? Like just a random conversation. And he's like, yeah, like people, like I've been out and there's people that actually know about you. If you go to shows, like before the show starts, like people might be talking about you and like other reactors and whatnot. And I'm like, that's nuts. Like just organic conversations without the prompt. Like I feel like that's insane. So yeah, I can understand that. And obviously you've got it to a way higher level. But yeah, man, that's got to be insane.
But it's still crazy too, because I was like, oh yeah, I gotta do a podcast with IAmChazza, and they're like, oh yeah, from the UK. I was like, yeah, you know, like
yeah,
because everyone watches the reactions, bro. Like honestly, like first reaction that pops up, bang, everyone's onto it, and you know, they all love it and they all support it. It's crazy, yeah, it's crazy. It's good work though. I like it.
Nah, I think it's sick. I feel like it's sick, just the support that goes both ways. Like I said, like because of your song, it was one of my more popular videos in terms of views, so I'm sure that brought more attention to my channel. So obviously, because of what you did, obviously, like I'm able to eat off of that a little bit, and then vice versa. There's people who come to my videos and they're like, I don't check for Aussie music unless it's on your channel. Like I'll find out about these songs for the first time. So then vice versa, there might have been a few people that then come your way. So I feel like reaction channels are good as long as the right intentions are there, because it is a give and take. It goes both ways.
Yeah, and I also like actually watching the reactions, because then I get to pick out, oh yeah, well, you know, got to work on that, or got to work on this. My next video, get rid of that, get rid of this, you know, like stuff like that. It's good. It's good for everyone, I guess.
Yeah, man, 100%. So then you've done Say Less, and then you had the Come Up. Was that based on you personally? Was that like a personal story to you that you reflected in the video, or was it kind of a generic story that you might see in your area?
Oh no, yeah. Are you talking about the video, the music video?
Yeah.
Or
more so the video, but yeah.
Yeah, the video was that was just, I just wanted to show like I was just an average kid, just going to school, you know, and then 5 years down the track, I'm like getting asked for photos, and I'm rapping, you know, like trying to make something out of myself with this rap shit, you know. And yeah, that's pretty much what it was. What it meant.
So you had to Come Up, then you had Got This. Which one thing I noticed, and I only noticed this yesterday, to be fair, that was mixed by Ezra James, who then featured on your album or your EP. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ezra, how do you know Ezra James? Who's he? Can you tell us a bit about him?
Oh, Ezra James, wow, he's a talented bloke, man. I'll tell you that much. Like the man does it all, bro. Fuck, he's like good with the music, and then on the other side, on the side hustle, he's got his own business. He's got a shisha lounge over here
Mm-hmm.
in Ipswich. I think it's the only one so far. And he's a fighter. He's actual like in the ring cage, like does it all. He's high up right now in terms of fighting, and you know, like he's just someone to be that I like being around. He's got good energy, and he's got a good head on his shoulders in terms of like what he wants to do, what he's focused to do, and also he's got the heart to help. So, you know, yeah, it's good to have also like that around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, like obviously I don't know him personally, but just based on what you just said there, like he's got his business, he trains mixed martial arts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, trains mixed martial arts, and he does music. So that tells me off the bat through his actions alone, that sounds like someone who works hard, someone who's quite ambitious to be juggling all of those things at once, you know?
Yeah.
And so without knowing him personally, yeah, I'd agree. People like that must be good people to have around, you know, people that kind of push you further as well, you know, like you motivate and inspire him, vice versa, you know. And I feel like that give and take is so important to have good people like that around you.
Yeah, 100. Him and his brother Lord Lance. You'll see all of us together a lot if you follow my if you look at my stories on Instagram and stuff. You know, we just stay around, like we stay tight, we do things together just to, you know, stay around like-minded people, I guess, and it's good. It's good for us.
You linked up with Vic to do Fists Up. How did that collaboration come about? How do you know Vic?
So me and Vic, yeah, we're good footy mates. We played footy together just last year, and then you know, we got booked. We all like started bonding a lot when we started drinking together. So yeah, I'd always go over to his house and have a sip and stuff, and found out he could rap, and I said, bro, fuck, you're pretty good. And I thought, you know, like so the history of the 43 and the 77, like this is before my time, man. I was probably still swimming, but you know, like there was a lot of beef, a lot of tension when between the two areas. So I saw it as a good opportunity to sort of show the world, like, it's not about that here. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people were trying to get at me, like, oh, who's his ops? Who does the 43 fuck with, and blah 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 blah. And then I saw a lot of people putting bringing old shit up, and you know, it just looked bad and stuff. So I like me and also we'll like let's just bridge it together. Let's do a song. I'll rep my ends, you rep yours, and but at the same time, let's just show them how we do it here. You know, like even though there was the bad blood between the two the two suburbs, like that's how it was sorted most of the time. Most of the time, it was sort of just, you know, two blokes having a good throwdown, and yeah, that was it. And so I guess we just put it on a song, and yeah, no, it went well for me. I'm happy with the outcome of that song, and it's definitely put Vic on the map for sure. So no, also he's keen. He's getting into the rap stuff a lot more, and I'm happy for him. Yeah.
At the start of that video, you have like the two boys. It's like saying, "What's up, Oos?" And then it's like the knife and whatnot, and you come along and you're like, "Nah, let me show you how like a real man fights," kind of thing. Like, is that something that you have seen in real life in your area? Is that something that?
Yes.
Yeah. So talk to me about that. Like, talk to me about that.
Yeah, no, yeah, like I saw it ages ago. Like but this is back when, you know, the hype for like a song like Shanks and Shivs was popping off. And, you know, like fucking good song, great song. I probably know every word, you know. But just what's the word? The reaction from the kids in my area. But it was a bit left-sided. Like I didn't agree with it because it just came out of nowhere. Like we're just playing basketball at the park, and you know, old mates. So one of the boys, probably like 16, 15, and he goes for a jump shot, and then like his knife falls out of his pocket. And it's not a big knife; it's not a massive fucking, army blade or machete. But and I was like, oh shit, like, what are you doing? You peeling apples with that, or And he's like, oh no, it's just for for protection if I need it. And I was like, that's what really sparked up the whole message behind say less and fists up and stuff like that. Is even my verse in Problems, if you've heard that one with the West, it was just like my whole life I've never walked around with a knife, and living in the area, so it was a shock to see these kids doing it now, and I guess just so with the music that came out like that.
Yeah, I mean, you have such a heavy emphasis of that in your music, talking about I don't want you, like, you don't need no shank or shiv to defend yourself. Like, no, fucking, like, train, like, keep yourself in good shape, box, fucking work out, like, do that, but you don't need to carry a weapon with you just to defend yourself. And it ain't the cool thing to do either. And I can see that's the message that you're trying to get out. And as you said, in terms of the music, like, you love Th4, you love that track, you know the words. And so I know this debate comes in of, but let's say drill music as a whole. Let's take drill as a genre. Drill is a bad thing because of the message that it puts across to the younger demographic, or even olders. I know grown men who all of a sudden feel big because they've listened to, a 6, 7 or a Harlem Spartans, right? And so there's that fine line of, all right, so we want to do this music, but look at the message that we're putting out at the same time. Now, just because an artist puts out music talking about running a man down, dipping this and that, selling this and that and whatever, is that always a bad thing? Like, is it a bad thing to talk about those experiences that they may or may have not had in the hood?
Nah, hell no, bro. No way. I don't say that because, like, rap is a form of art, bro. Like, at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is paint a picture. You know what I mean? And you're just trying to paint a picture for people to look at. Now, pictures don't tell you what to do. I mean, like literally, they don't say, come and do this or do that. And they might, painting a picture might look good when you think about it, but it doesn't necessarily mean like go and do it. Yeah. You get what I'm trying to say?
No.
So,
but, like, why do people look up to let's just say, take Th4 as an example? Why do you think people look up to Th4?
Oh well, like, they're like good artists, bro. They make good music. They came from humble beginnings, and they're just like if I like, for when I would look at it, I'd say, like, seeing another brown brother do something like do numbers like that, be seen in the UK, like on the other side of the world, like, well, why wouldn't you look up to them?
Is it fair to say that people just identify with them? Like, they see these other groups, they see what you're doing, and they're like, oh, that's someone of my skin color, someone of my complexion, someone from my background, from my area even, that's doing this. And do you feel like that's where the influence comes from?
Yeah, it could be like that. Yeah, 100%. No, I agree with you there. It might be like that. But yeah.
I mean, this is the interesting thing for me, though, right? Is, okay, so there's all of this negative light on artists that are talking about drillings, etc., etc. But there wasn't nearly the same amount of scrutiny, from my perspective at least, on American artists when they were talking about doing drive-bys, smoking crack, selling weed. You know what I mean? Like, yes, it's a different art form, it's a different art, it's presented in a different way, but the content isn't that far off of each other. I would agree that drill as a genre as a whole is more violent, it's more descriptive about the violence, but hip-hop has never been all like daisies and flowers, and you know what I mean? Like, there's been dark themes in hip-hop since it started. That's what it stemmed from. It stemmed from struggle and adversity and what it was like, what it was actually like in the hood. Yeah,
I agree. And it did, like, me starting off as a rapper at a young age, like, I was doing gun bars, like, I had some gun bars. I had bars like, you know, to do with killing people and stuff. I mean, I would never put it out now, obviously, but like, you know, like you're right. It was never like at a point like it was part of the culture to be like violent or you know, gangster in your raps. So yeah, a lot's changed now. Well, not really, but you know, still.
No, I get where you're coming from. 100%. So coming into the Average Man project, like, why did you decide to title it Average Man?
I think it's just because I'm still getting used to the whole Lisi thing, you know. So my real name's Tallis. I go by Tallis. But like, yeah, just because it's not even been a year, and like the come up has been like, like flying through there. Like not to blow my own horn, but just saying, like, you know, going out in public and stuff. I mean, people are like, oh, like Lisi, like blah blah blah. I guess what I wanted to do with the title was just let people know, like, you know, I'm just a normal bloke. You see me in the street, you say hi, yeah, sweet. You know, like I'm not the type of person to like you know, pull up in a $100,000 car or something like that. You know, like yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to get across with the EP, and just tell people that the name of the EP, and just show people that I'm just like you, or like just an average person, just trying to make something of myself, and that's it.
And as you were talking about like influence and impact before, you know, that I can see that being influential on people being like, rah, like, yeah, he is just a normal guy. Like, people forget about this. They're seeing all of these figures on YouTube and whatnot, and it's just like, these are normal people. Like, Ed Sheeran was a normal person. Like, Barack Obama was once a normal person. Like, whoever you want to pick, at some point, everyone was a normal person, or majority of people, especially the ones who did grow up without much. You know, the ones who did come from the area and did grow up in the council estate flats, and, you know, did grow up on the free school meals, and you know, people are normal people, you know. And so with this project, what was that like the message to get across? Was that the message of like, if I'm just an average guy doing my thing, and like, so you can kind of do yours? Is that kind of the message you wanted to get across? Or
yeah, 100%. And I don't know, like, if like for me, and I also wanted to show that every track that I did, everyone can relate to it, you know. At least the only track that you probably wouldn't be able to listen to, like for say someone like a kid that grew up in, you know, a nice area with nice houses and, you know, stuff like that, and had like no one on the streets around him, like then maybe Concrete Jungle might go over his head, or like someone that's more about just peace, like not really a troublemaker or nothing, not even troublemaker, just like it avoids confrontation, then Tell Him might go over his head, you know. But at the end of the day, there's at least 1 or 2 or 3 tracks on that on the EP that everyone will listen to, and so yeah, that's pretty much why I was trying to get across is that I'm an average man, and this EP is for the average man. Like, you know, it's for your everyday Joe that's got to go work, and he's got to work hard, make money, and then come home, feed his family. You know, it's for your weekend that you want to have with the boys and just get drunk. You know. It's for your parents, you know. It's for your parents. It's for your area that you love so much. It's for the bloke that you just had a fight with last week. Like, that's what I'm just trying to get across, you know. Like every like, just trying to hit life from different angles with my music, and I tried to do that on the EP, and yeah,
telling those everyday stories.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty much.
So I'm gonna read a lyric here, yeah, because you've got to help me now. You obviously you'll know what this means. I'm still learning the Samoan and the Tongan slang. I'm still learning, right? So on the track, on the self-titled track, Average Man, yeah, you say these haters want clout, but they can come and get this denga.
Yeah, denga, yeah.
What does that mean? That one went over my head.
Tongan for dick.
Ah, so
Pretty
basically,
much
like,
like,
like you're a hater, but can't suck my dick, like fuck you, kind
yeah,
of
like,
thing.
you know, like you want clout or you get cock.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Okay, that makes sense. How does it feel using the slang and the language that you grew up using? Like, how does that feel putting it on music? Because obviously you've grown up listening to American music, UK music, and whatnot, and now you've got the chance to be a part of a culture where you put your own culture in the music. Like, how does that feel to, you know, have something that you and your people like really identify with?
Yeah, well, I think it was when I was watching reactions to like 1/4's music, and people were like, "What's a ganger?" You know,
Mm-hmm.
like it was cool for me, like that was a little, you know, like proud moment, like seeing the like 1/4 put up our slang, or not really. That's not really what we say around here, but I know that it's Australian, you know,
Yeah.
and because you know, like us listening to your guys' music, like you'd have your few dickheads over here trying to say, "Oh yeah, she's a painting," and we just look at them, we're like, "I
Yeah,
can't,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
yeah, it's just like shut up. You just listen to Stormzy now. You're calling girls paintings.
yeah,
You
yeah,
fucking,
yeah.
you know." So that's what I was happy to see, but they were putting more like their slang in there. So when I came up with my music, I wanted to just put more the everyday words we use over here, like a slab. You know, that's 24 carton of beers, or
Mm-hmm.
like any drink. You know, durry, a cigarette,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And yeah, like the words like uso, toko, like
Mm-hmm.
that's just how we speak here. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's different, but it's proud when it's a proud moment when you know, you got like the whitest bloke in the room singing, "That's my uso," you
Yeah,
know,
that's
like
so sick.
yeah,
I think that's so
yeah, you know
sick,
what I mean?
man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. I guess it's just that, you know, everyone's open to it now. It's
Mm-hmm.
no, it's becoming normal in a
Yeah.
way. Like even you, like, you know, you hear it now so many times in
Yeah.
music from over here
Mm-hmm.
that, like, you know what we're saying. You'd have to pause and be like, "What's he saying?" "Oh no, he said uso. That's a brother." You know,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
just
yeah.
click on like that, and that's a proud moment for us. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Oh no, I'm still learning, man. I think it's sick. I think it's sick to just understand and learn another culture. You know, the same way
yeah,
how, as a fan of UK music for years, we've been wanting to push our music internationally. You know, it's got to the point where, all right, we're now, our UK artists are now household names in the UK. That's sick. So
yeah,
now let's push that international market. And you know, when you've got Americans reacting to us, or whoever it may be internationally reacting to us, and it's they're, you know, they're missing the slang and they're not understanding it. I can
yeah,
understand. It's like frustrating. And
yeah,
it's a weird dynamic for me, because sometimes I'll see somebody react to not that I watch many reaction videos anymore, but I used to like watch reactions, and I'd see
yeah,
someone react to like a gigs track, and
yeah,
they'd say, "Oh, I don't really like it." And being from the UK, it's like, are you nuts? Like, it's because you
yeah,
don't understand it. You don't understand the slang, the
yeah,
language, the culture. And then, you know, there's been times where I've said that I don't like a song from Australia or New Zealand, and people are like, it's
yeah,
because you don't understand everything and you don't understand the culture. And it's like,
yeah.
shit, like, yeah, I can
It's
kind of
true.
understand where that comes from. And so, you know, I'm doing my best to learn the culture and understand the language, and, you know, so
Yeah,
that can't be pulled. It's like, I know just as
yeah,
much
yeah,
as you in some ways, you know, and that's the point I want
yeah,
to get to. And, you know, I feel like when I started doing this just over 2 years ago, I could hear plenty of Aussies and plenty of people using UK slang, you know? And I
oh
feel
yeah,
like already there's been a quick turnaround already. I feel like, you know, you, 1/4, Hefs, you know, all these other top artists that have
yeah,
quickly made the turnaround and like, no, we're going to use our slang. We're going to use our language.
yeah,
We're going to use, you know, what we talk. We're not going to
yeah,
copy what the UK do. Did you notice that as well? Do you still notice that, like, Aussie artists using UK slang?
yeah. Uh, yeah, yeah, I do. Um, I feel like ops was UK.
Yeah.
The word ops.
Mm-hmm.
That was started from the UK, but now it's second nature here. Like,
Mm-hmm.
everyone's like, "Oh, like, yeah, that's their ops," and then everyone's like, "Oh yeah, we got it." I
Mm-hmm.
remember back when it first came out, people were like, "What's op? What's op?" Um, I think the one there is a word that sort of got put in the wrong context. I don't know if it was put in the wrong context,
Right.
or if we took it and used it for like in terms of what we mean by it.
Yeah.
But OT.
OT. So I mean, when you say that, before you say anything, if I hear like I've been OT in the street, like overtime, like I've been like out here for a long time. That's my understanding of the term OT.
Well, then I'm fucking all wrong then. Shit.
But okay, so what's your interpretation of it?
No, I heard in UK meant to be like away from your area, like you go OT. It means like you're taking trips and shit.
Yeah, yeah, I guess it could be used like that. Like we would use so depending on what part of the country you're from. Like obviously in London, it's a city. It's where 95% of UK music comes from. It comes from London. So if you were heading out of town, you'd be going cunch. You'd be going to the countryside. You'd be out of the city. So we would use the term going cunch. But going OT, yeah. I think you saying that now, I'm like doubting myself. I'm like, no, maybe I have heard it in that use. So maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. Maybe I'm the one who's misinterpreted it. You know what I mean? Like, but
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's all these different debates about where things stem from and come from. But yeah,
it's like the same as what you said. Like overtime, that's over here. And so when I heard it, because like, what's that? That song by OFB, like OT bopping.
Yeah, OT bop.
Like no, the OFB one with Band OK in that.
Oh,
OT bop, like bopping. It was the
yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
yeah. But that's like OT, like.
Yeah.
Is that what like my context?
Yeah, that's probably nearer your context. I've heard the song probably once or twice, but yeah. No, and I mean like slang gets it gets slurred in with the meanings and where it come from. Like I remember the funniest one was ever was I was in English like year 10, so you're like what 14, 15. And I remember somebody in my class, and he used to speak like this, innit? Obviously, like, miss, obviously, like, I ain't doing my... So he used to be one of them. He used to try harder than what he actually was. And I remember him being like, nah, man, you're getting me vexed. And then the teacher was just like, I can't remember what the exact interaction was, and the teacher said something. And then he's like, nah, my brother, like, I don't know, let's think of a random name. I don't know, fucking... Bookmark, I don't know, whatever his road name was, like, yeah, Bookmark from the block, yeah, he invented that word vex, innit, like, you know what I mean? And the teacher, like, laughed in his face and was like, your boy, your Bookmark, whatever his name is, I don't know why I come out with Bookmark, but yeah, he invented the word, yeah, he invented the word vex, like, yeah, my brother's on the estate, innit? And she was like, you'll find out that Shakespeare invented that word. One of the 10,000 words he put into the English language was invented however many hundreds of years ago. Like, and it was like, nah. My brother from the block invented that word vex, and now the whole world uses it. It's like, no, that's like Shakespeare shit. Like, piped down. And so, you know, there's all these different people that are like, yeah, my crew started using this term and this phrase, and we're the one who popularized it. And to be honest, we're just never gonna know with things like that.
Yeah, I guess stupid here, like people pick at it here, like why are they trying to sound like us and blah blah blah. It's like, sorry, we didn't know you owned it. We didn't know you owned slang and stuff. Like, you know, that's why I don't really say like stuff like Eshe or Itai in my music, but when I do hear it in like you know, in rap, and then you see other people like comment like, oh, why are you trying to sound like you're from Sydney and stuff? It's like, bro, you know, it's just slang. They're just words, bro. Fuck, what are you gonna do? Come snatch them out of my mouth, eh? Yeah. Shit can't, but nah.
But language changes over time anyway. It just does. Like, you'll hear the language that your parents use, and it's like, that ain't the words we use nowadays. How often do you hear it? Like, someone younger, like 10 years old, and they're like, I'm finally starting to get to that age. I'm still young. I'm nearly 22, like, so I'm still young, yeah? But I'll hear like a 10-year-old come out of a word, and I'm like, I don't know what that word means. And it's like, shit. I remember the time when it was like, you knew everything, and it was like, how do you not know what this word means? And it's like, I'm starting to now get to that age where there is a solid generation below now, like a good 10 years. That is the lower generation to me now. And it's like, they're knowing about things through YouTube and TikTok, and I'm still relatively in touch, but like they're coming out with things, and I'm like, what? I don't know what the fuck this is. Like,
I was like, what the fuck's a simp? I had never heard of this word. Like, what the fuck is a simp?
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, well, it sounds like, you know, like, is that half a Simpson, or is it, what are you talking about? It's supposed to be shrimp, or I don't know. And they come to tell me, "Oh, it's just the guy who respects girls," and I was like, "What the fuck? We got words for that. That's just called a gentleman."
Yeah,
You know?
I was just about to say that's a gentleman
Yeah.
by my definition, but yeah.
Yeah, that's stupid nowadays. I don't know what they're coming up with, but yeah,
But
it's
to
just
be
crazy.
fair,
Though.
we'll sit here and go, oh, that's stupid, like what they're coming up with. But people 10, 15 years older than us looked at us
Yeah.
and was just like, what the fuck they doing? That's stupid. You know, they might look at the music that you're creating now and it's just like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just a generational thing. It's just how times move.
Yeah.
We're gonna, like, the same way an older generation to us looked at us and went, that generation are doomed. That generation have no chance. Everything that's going on, they've got no chance. And then, you know, the same way we're gonna look at this younger generation and be like, they're doomed.
Yeah.
You know, how different is it for a younger generation in this social media era when they're having the influences by music? Like, what do you think there's a difference between growing up in, let's say, the early 2000s, in the late 90s, early 2000s, versus growing up in like 2015 to 2020? Like, what do you feel like there are any big differences?
Massive, bro. Like, fuck. Just technology. It plays a massive part in like I got little cousins, mate, that have a phone, an iPhone, you know, and I was like, shit. I remember I got my first phone when I was about 15, you know, and like that's when they were born, you know. Like I'm like, shit. It's a lot's changed. But yeah, a lot has changed. I feel like the generations they'll be a bit more softer as well. But no, saying that, like our elders look at us and they're like he's a little pufters, you know, like you know, we're just like, oh, whatever. But then we look at the ones that are younger than us and we think, you know, these guys has got to be even worse than us, stuff like that. But yeah, no, it's definitely changed, bro, and the technology's played a big part in that. And also, like everything's just gone soft, I reckon. Like, just the WWE, they're pussies now, you know.
Love it.
I remember that shit when I was young, and then I wanted to go make someone's head bleed with a steel chair, you know. But now the kids have to watch it, and all they see is girls screaming and guys touching each other. It just looks gay. Footy's getting softer over here, NRL. Like they're making new rules and stuff to get away from all this shit, and you know, we just look at it, we're like, oh fuck, yeah, a lot's changing for the next generations. But you know, it is what it is.
It is what it is. I mean, you know, just very quickly on the WWE subject, like, I grew up watching WWE, like on the end of the Attitude Era, like Stone Cold, The Rock, like that. That was like me. That's what I grew up loving. Like Stone Cold was my favorite, just because he was one of them guys that just gave no fucks. Like him and Jeff Hardy, because again, Jeff Hardy was jumping off of ladders and just someone who just looked like he give no fucks. Like, and then I remember doing it like my uncle would come around and I'd be like, I'm gonna swanton bomb you from the top bunk. Like that's what's gonna happen. He'd be like, what? Are you nuts? And I'll be jumping off the top bunk, like doing front flips, like not trained in it. Like, I know they do don't try this at home. I was the first one to be trying this shit at home. Like,
you know,
man.
And the stuff like that. Like we weren't scared because we looked at them. They weren't scared. You know what I mean? But now it's changing. You know.
That's a very good point, though. That's a very good point. The same way we looked at wrestlers and what they're doing. And even though they said, don't do this at home, this isn't safe, we still want to do it because it's what we looked up to. So what's the difference between someone young now looking up to a drill group on YouTube and just being like, I know that's the wrong thing to do, but I look up to it, it's what I'm influenced by.
Yeah.
I've only just thought of that now. Is it fair to draw comparisons there?
Nah, I don't know, mate. I don't know. Like, it is true, but you just can't, like, you can't blame them. That's all. Like, you can't go and say, you know, oh, like it's like the movies that we watched when we were younger. Our parents weren't making us watch Saw or, you know, fucking, like, just MA-15 movies. Like, you know, there was always there's restrictions for stuff like that. It just depends on how, but if I had a kid, I wouldn't let him listen to, you know, drill or none of that shit, just because just at a certain age, you know, I'll let them have that thing. But it's hard now because of the way the world works with social media and shit.
So
Like, you
easily
know,
accessible. It's so easy to just
yeah,
see it and click.
yeah. Like you can hide it. You can hide it from your kids all you want, but maybe your son, 12-year-old son's gonna listen to someone's story, and there's fucking, you know, RV playing in the background, you know, and then that's the way it's changing, you know. Like it comes back to that question you asked before, like it's a lot's changing for these young generations and stuff. And but yeah, yeah, it's still it's the same comparisons as the WWE for us back in the day. But at the same time, you can't blame drill. You can't blame drill. You know?
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah.
I mean, I as a teacher, there's a boy I teach. He's year 5 at the moment. We're going into year 6. So he's about 10 years old.
Yeah.
This kid is one of the most legendary kids I've ever taught. Like, he's polite, he's helpful, he's hardworking. He's one of them kids that's just good at everything as well. But this man knows like Eminem songs lyric for lyric. He knows like Jay-Z songs like lyric, and I'm like, how do you know Jay-Z? But he'll know like songs from like the Reasonable Doubt album, and it's like, what? Like, and he'll know like 8 Mile word for word. And so he's you know, okay, you could argue it's slightly different to drill music, but okay, still, this kid listens to American hip-hop and he knows this shit. But he's one of the most hardworking, polite, respectful kids that I know. So he's taking in content that is arguably more mature for his age, but he's able to take that in and not replicate that just in life, in the playground, with his friends, with his parents, you know, etc.
And that was me. I was like that too. Like I would listen to Who Shot You by Biggie, but I wouldn't be fascinated to go and, you know, grab a gun or like just be like, oh, you know, that's how I want to live. Like, it was just music. That's how I always try and get across. Like, it's just music. I mean, yeah, it's just music. Like sometimes it's just a painting that you got to look at. You don't have to, you know, take it home with you. You know what I mean? Like, it's just there to listen to and stuff. And yeah, props to old mate. Tell him Lisi said hi.
They don't know about this side of things yet. So one day we'll do that. One day we might do that. But like, you know, there's so much content out there that if as a father, as a mother, as even a family member, even a sibling, like, you wouldn't want your younger family member to know about. And I feel like you can restrict it. But as you said, in this day and age now, it's so easy to access everything. Like, it's too easy to access like fucked up videos on Twitter. It's too like shit, like porn and shit. Like, it's too easy to just type it in and there it is. Like, it's too easily accessible now. And so my advice would be, yes, put some restrictions in place, but ultimately I would triple down on making sure that your child has the right morals and is mature about these things, so that if and when they do take in that content, they're able to at least not replicate the negative sides of it. You know, I was able to grow up listening to 50 Cent, Kanye West, Jay-Z, that era of American hip-hop, and not walk around swearing all the time. Like, you know, so even just down to things like that, like my dad would be listening to like hip-hop, R&B, jungle, and I'd be hearing MC spit over jungle, and you know, and you'd be hearing certain content, and it would be like, okay, but I knew that if I wanted to like pretend to be MCing over it, I wouldn't be swearing. Or if he'd let me watch certain films that were more violent, it would be like, but I don't want to hear you fighting every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the estate. You know what I mean? So it was kind of there was the boundary there. Yes, you can take in some of this content, as long as you can show me you're mature about it. The more maturity you show me, the more content I'll let you be exposed to. And I feel like that's
good. Yeah, 100. I agree. No, that's that it just comes down, like I said, like just what you know, and how you think and how you feel about the music. Like, if you can see that it's like these kids are starting to really, like, for instance, just seeing a kid have a knife, you know, when he doesn't need it, you know him, he's a good bloke, like he's a good kid, you know, like he comes from good parents and stuff, but why has he got a knife? You know, there's stuff like that makes you think, these restrictions would actually help in terms of reaching out to the younger kids and stuff. But yeah, no, yeah, 100% with that one.
Yeah, I mean, how much of it do you think is down to opportunities? And what I mean by that is, I stayed out of trouble because I used to do athletics. I used to do music. I used to, do my PE, and then even down to like my college years, it was then coaching. So it was, I didn't have time to go and fuck about too much,
Yeah.
I mean, for you personally, before we get to there, for you personally, what kept you out of trouble at times?
Footy, and nah, you can't say footy because there were even some bad times playing footy too. I'd say more church. I was heavily into church. Like I used to go a lot, but on my own, like by my own will, like I wanted to go. I was like that, and yeah, but footy was a big one. Footy was a big one because I used to play school and club, so there was a lot of time into footy and stuff like that. Yeah. No, I didn't have much, bro. I didn't really have much to keep me busy and stuff. I guess I just, I don't know.
Yeah, all right. Really... So okay. So the reason I asked that is because how much of negative behavior, like bad situations that some youngers may be getting themselves into, how much is that down to them just having nothing to do, like hanging around on the estate? They've got nowhere to be. They've got no responsibility. So it's like, fuck it, let's try this. Oh, this shit's fun because it's something to do. So when I know, just we picked on old mate from the estate last week. All right, this week, like I might take his phone or something. And then you know what? Fuck this. Why do I need to do this on the estate? I'm gonna be taking trips now to other areas. You know what? Like, come on, I'm back. And you can see how that escalates just stemming from nothing to do. Equally so, I know that there's people who, may be on that borderline of, I read that fine line at one point of hanging around people that was doing that. And then when they were like, yeah, we're going to go and do this, I would always kind of distance myself and be like, oh, nah, because I've got like athletics training. Or, oh, no, because I've got to be in like, sometimes it was just the Xbox that kept me in. It was just like, nah. I promised my mate I'd hop on a game of FIFA later. So like, and so, but for the ones who have nothing to do, so do you feel like if youngers have nothing to do, they're more likely to get into bad situations?
Nah, bro. I wouldn't even blame it on that. I'd say it just comes down to, yeah, it varies though. It varies, I reckon. Like it just depends on, like what those group of kids do. Like I don't know. Like me and my mates, sometimes we had nothing to do, so we'd go for a swim at the local pool. Or we'll go kick a ball around at the park. It just depends. It depends on the kid and how they think, and sometimes the family that they're involved with. Like seeing older brothers and older cousins and shit. Plays a big part in their life and stuff. But yeah, I can't really say that kids doing nothing leads them to get into trouble. I don't know. I don't know really. I just say it's just kids being little shits.
Okay, so is it then fair to say it's never down to just one thing?
Nah. That's it. I agree with that one. But in saying that, if I was to do something for the community, like to help prevent those kids getting in trouble, then we'll create opportunities for kids to do something. You know what I mean? Like you're not wrong, but there are other aspects that we can blame. For kids getting in trouble. Because there are kids who are doing nothing and are happy with doing nothing. Like that's just how they like it. But yeah, if, as I was saying, like to stop kids from getting in trouble that are doing nothing, then look, I would want to provide do programs and workshops and stuff like that for them to get into different kinds of things. And yeah.
So do you feel like, as an artist in the scene, as someone who many people may look up to, like what can other artists be doing, whether that be through music or whether that be outside of the music? What can artists and integral figures within the scene be doing to help the younger generation stay out of trouble? Like, what can we do to help?
I don't know, bro. I don't know, because every artist is in a different lane. So you know, like someone like me, obviously, you know, that I want to try and change the younger generations more so for my area, but for everyone that listens to me and is younger, you know. But you know, you got artists that are doing it just to get out of the hood. You know, there are other artists that want to make it to America or like the UK and like live life over there. Yeah, everyone just has different intentions. But to answer the question, I don't know, bro. I can't say.
That's fair enough. It's not an easy question to answer. You know,
Yeah.
I ask this to a lot of people. I say, like, what can we do to help? And you know, some people, as you said, you already said, like, workshops and things like that, like working with these people, like whether it be like, do you have like youth centers or anything like that out there?
Yeah. So yeah, we got those over here. They're for like troubled kids, like kids that get into trouble and shit. Yeah, there's heaps of those. And that's what we're trying to look into, is getting into those facilities where there are kids that are troubled, like the juvies, for instance. It's just with COVID now that everything's a bit fucked in the ass. But you know, we're looking to, because we heard that in juvie, Lisi and the West is played heaps. You know, the kids love it. So we're always like we're trying to plan stuff like to get into the juvies and do workshops with kids and let them try and find something to, you know, hold on to while they're in there and stuff like that, you know. And so try and make them better people and just better the younger generation. Like, yeah, all those things is what we're like, you know, what we're trying to come up with, and it's all just to give back to our young kids.
I think ultimately, because I remember asking this to Zig. I remember asking Ziggy, I was like, what can we do to help the youngers? And you know, we had a discussion about it. Someone DM'd me. They might have even commented on the video. I can't remember which one, but they basically said like, why are you always asking this question to artists and people within the scene and whatnot? Like, since when was it their responsibility to make sure that everything was going right in the hood? And my response to that basically was like, look, the reason I'm asking this question to people like you and other people that people respect is because people will respect your opinion. You know, I believe you're already being a good influence by the message that you put across in your music, by saying like, look, as you said, you even did a whole song like hard yakka, hard work, right? And so it's like, even that alone is something that is a positive influence. Like, here's music that you can enjoy, here's something that you may look up to, and it's about like hustling, it's about motivation, it's about like working for what you want. Like, I'm not saying that because you're a person who puts out a positive message, now what are you doing next to help the younger generation? Now what are you doing else to help your area? You know, I don't ever want it to seem like that's how it's coming across. Like, Lisi's one of the more positive characters, so now all of a sudden, like, it's your responsibility to solve everything that's going wrong. You know what I mean? Because ultimately, if we're really going to look at who may be responsible, we're looking at the people who control all the money, the government. What are they doing to invest money? Because in my local area, we had a couple youth clubs and youth centers. They got shut down. And then equally, then they're saying, well, it's your fault. Well, how is it our fault? You're taking away our incentives and our opportunities. They're still every year pulling funding away from schools. And then they're blaming schools for not doing enough for how the younger generation's growing up.
Yeah, it's fucked. Well, it is. It's fucked, but I don't know. I've never really been the type to look into that deep. I'm just a pretty I'm pretty basic kind of guy. Like, I'll just see how it is, and if it is what it is, then that's how we got to roll with it. That's how we got to deal with it. But at the same time, you're right, bro. Like the government, it's not what they for us, it's not what they're doing. It's what they can do that they haven't done. You know, like But you know, it is what it is, I guess, and we're gonna take it on board and try and do something with it ourselves. Because that's how it always
I get
that's
that, man.
how it always has been.
I get that. And just to emphasize that point one final time, just to slowly wrap this up, like, it's okay not to have all the answers. Like, it's okay to not know exactly what to do. I think just ultimately just putting the right positive energy out there and just trying to help in those situations where you physically see it. Like you said, if you physically see a younger with a knife, it's just like, all right, at least have a conversation. I'm not saying you got to do some superhero shit and disarm them. No, but have a conversation, you know, almost plant that seed in their head of like, look, you don't need to do this, you know. And so ultimately, no matter what it's down to, whether it's from carrying a knife to just fucking whatever it is, you know what I mean? Just, I think ultimately, as long as you're putting the right energy out there, I think it's going to be helping. But
I'll put it that way though, like, carrying a weapon is not, like, sometimes it's needed, you know. Like, I'm not gonna expect, you know, sometimes you need to carry a weapon. But what I was more getting across is just that you don't need it in a situation where you can fend for yourself using your hands. Like a lot of people are like, why you talk about carrying a knife if, like, you know, you've never been in a position where you need to have one, you know. But it's more like situations like, you know, so a kid just passed away recently, and it's because 10 kids jumped him and they stabbed him. You know, like, he's got 10 kids there. He's got nothing on him. But you know, like, was he really need? Did he need to die? Like, did he need to get stabbed? You know what I mean? That's the kind of stuff we're trying to prevent. But yeah, I just want to clear that up. Like, you know, I want people to know that, you know, if you're watching this and you have that, like, that thought of why do I talk on this stuff if I've never needed to use it? Well, I'd never said that it's not necessary. I've more said that for us everyday people, you know, this is just how we roll, and this is all we need. And yeah, it's for the kids, you know.
I hear that, man, 100%. What are your plans for the future? Like, what are you looking to do over the next few months?
Bro, I don't know. Just gonna be working, like, getting more tracks down. Probably plan out what we want to do for our tours. Like, we want to do some tours. Because the fan base in New Zealand's crazy. It's massive. And even over here too. But yeah, that's what we got planned for these coming months. And a lot of business, like the business side of music as well.
Yeah.
Because yeah, you know, a lot's happening, and we just gotta, like, even though the final big project's out, the EP's out the way, the work's not done. It doesn't stop here. Like, you know, we're not just gonna take our foot off the pedal and then relax for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
We got more work. If anything, we got more work to put in, and yeah, more bangers for you to react to as well.
Yeah, legend, bro. Yeah, so is that your final message? Any last things that you want to do? Any people you want to shout out before we go?
Oh, yeah, I'm sweet, bro. Yeah. Shout out.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for hopping on the podcast.
My man.